So, really quick, if you haven't seen my most recent episode from the end of yesterday on initiative, and you don't know what an initiative is, well, make sure you find out what the Blazes initiative is. By watching that episode where I explained it, of course. I think that was implied. But today's episode is not about initiative, it is about what is got to be the best bear of all time with Wilson, Refined Grizzly. And that's just an amazing name and some amazing artwork. I mean, you've got this cute bear just like sniffing this potion. I assume that's a potion of some sort and be like, oh yes, that is quite lovely, yes. I'm sure Wilson doesn't talk like that. Wilson! Sorry, I had to get that in. Anyways, I just had coffee, did you realize that? Anyways, here we go. Wilson is a 2/2 bear warrior because of course he is. That costs 1 and a green. So yes, a 2/2 for 2 mana, bear. Wilson also has this spell can't be countered, so that's fantastic. Vigilance, Reach, Trample, Ward 2, because 2 for a bear. 2's everywhere, I guess, and also choose a background. Now, if you're not sure what backgrounds are, well, luckily for you, I've got an entire episode on what in the world are backgrounds, so make sure you go check that one out at some point. Don't just leave just yet. I mean, I guess you can, as long as you promise to come back. You promise? But yeah, basically, long story short, backgrounds are basically like a partner commander in the command zone, but they are a legendary enchantment. They give your commander an effect, based on the background, and they also influence your color identity. So Wilson obviously already has the color identity of green, but of course if you choose a background that's in a different color, you can have a 2-color commander identity with Wilson. And again, that can be whatever you want it to be. So if you choose a blue background, you've got a Simic color identity. If you choose a red one, you've got Gruul, etc, etc, etc. And of course, you get whatever other awesome effect that background gives your commander. And yes, there are plenty of them. I can't go through all of them on this episode, but what I can do is talk about what kinds of cards you might want to consider based on your color identity. Regardless, Wilson has the makings of a fantastic Voltron commander. I mean, this thing is keyword soup. It's low to the ground, your opponents can't counter it, it has vigilance so you can swing freely with it and you can still keep it back on defense, and also has reach so it can block flyers, it has trample so it can get damage through, and it has ward too, so at least that's some nice additional protection and a nice deterrent. At the very least, your opponents are going to have to think twice when it comes to trying to target your awesome bear commander. I mean, not that they wouldn't anyways, because this thing is just fantastic, and who would want to try to take it out? Now, really quick, before we jump into the cards that can work very well with Wilson, again, depending on whichever color identity you pick, I have included a link to the list of these cards in the description below. When new and exciting commanders like this one are spoiled, sometimes certain cards go up in price because, well, many players are excited about this commander and building around it. So sometimes players want to pick up cards sooner rather than later, so if you want to do that with some of these cards, make sure you check out that link in the description below. Now with that said, I quickly just want to mention that we have come a very long way since the original bear with Grizzly Bear is just a 2/2 for 2 mana that has absolutely no text on it. That's all it does. It's a 2/2 for 2. Whereas, Wilson's like 2/2 for 2 that has keyword soup, and again, it can be your commander and you can choose a background to work with it to, add to your color identity. All those things. But yeah, Magic has come quite a long way since our original 2/2 for 2. That being said, when it comes to cards that can work very well with Wilson, some of the first ones that came to my mind are cards like Blackblade Reforged, Fireshrieker, and Loxodon and Warhammer. Of course, for a Voltron style commander like this one that already has a lot of benefits just on its own with all those keywords, you can make the most of them with some equipment like these that can help make it even deadlier. Blackblade Reforged says equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control, and it only costs 3 to equip onto a legendary creature. So the longer the game goes and the more lands that you get into play, and again you are in green so you've got fantastic ways to ramp with lands, the deadlier your commander gets. And of course, you can double up on its deadliness with Fireshrieker, which says equipped creature has double strike. Once you get things going and you're set up properly, with this on your commander, you can easily turn your commander into a 2-shot KO, if not even at some point a 1-shot KO. And then you also might want some lifelink as well, so yeah, Loxodon and Warhammer can be a great one. It gives +3, +0, and trample, which we already have, and lifelink, but yeah. Lifelink's going to be a great way to pad our life total a ton with this commander. Again, because our commander is vigilant, we can be very aggressive with it and just keep swinging out and just saying, yeah, sure, I'll attack, I'll get some damage through, I'll gain a ton of life, and sure, my commander's back for blocking too, so if you want to attack me, go for it. I'll just gain some life too. And of course, there are other great equipment out there that give lifelink, like, Basilisk Collar, which also gives Death Touch, which again works well with Trample. So yeah, make sure on the lookout for those lifelinking equipment. They work great with a Voltron commander, that especially one that has Vigilance. Moving on though, yes, Ward 2 is a solid form of protection, but there is a reason why Wizards no longer really prints things with Hexproof, because Hexproof is just obnoxious for your opponents. And so yeah, Swiftfoot Boots is definitely a card that you're going to want to consider with this commander. It gives equipped creature Hexproof and haste, so yeah, both are very relevant with this commander, protecting it pretty much completely from targeted removal, and also allowing you to swing right away with it. Just costing 1 to equip, and this thing is getting reprinted in this set. Yes, please get under $1 Swiftfoot Boots. Please be budget friendly. Now some cards that are, well, not as budget friendly, but yes, if you got the budget for them, they can be fantastic with a Voltron commander like this one. Let's talk about Hammer of Nazan and Commander's Plate. Hammer of Nazan says, when it or another equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach that equipment to target creature you control. And on top of that, equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Indestructible. So this equipment does a ton of work for you. Again, it itself just attaches automatically, and all of your other equipment attach automatically. And of course, on top of that, well, +2/+0, that's nice. Indestructible, incredible. Next up though, Commander's Plate is a great way to protect your commander, and this one actually is kind of a variable card based on what commander identity you choose based on the background that you choose. It gives equipped creature +3/+3 and has protection from each color that's not in your commander's color identity. So actually, if you picked, a green background, then cool, your commander's color identity doesn't choose and you've got protection from every other color. Now, you might not want to do that because you might want access to other colors, but it's up to you. Regardless, at the end of the day, no matter what background you choose, again, because I think all the backgrounds are only monocolored, I believe that's correct. Correct me in the comments below if I'm incorrect on that. You're going to have protection from at least 3 colors with this, and again, +3/+3 too. That's pretty nice. Now, obviously, again, you already are in the green color identity, and there's plenty of fantastic equipment that can help you out with things like Belt of Giant Strength, Tanuki Transplanter, and Scepter of Celebration. Belt of Giant Strength says equipped creature has base power and toughness 10/10, and it does say equip 10, but it's going to cost X less to activate or X the power of the creature it targets. So obviously, at a base level, yeah, equip 8 is not going to be great for your commander, but the more and more ways that you have to pump your commander, you can get this down to, even 0 at a certain point, and then your base power and toughness for your commander is a 10/10. That's basically +8/+8. So of course, with this equipped and other things equipped, you can easily turn your commander into a 2-shot and probably a 1-shot KO. Next up, Tanuki Transplanter helps us out in a different way. It says, whenever it or equipped creature attacks, add amount of green equal to its power. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. And of course, it's got a reconfigure cost of 3. So as a creature, sure, 2 mana, great. As an equipment on our commander, this can just generate us an absurd amount of mana that we can utilize for, well, a lot of exciting things. Like maybe Scepter of Celebration. It says equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Trample. And again, we already have Trample, but it also has whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. So with a Voltron strategy like this one, most of the time we're going to be going very tall with a singular creature, which is our commander, but with this, we can easily also go wide and make a giant army out of nowhere. Obviously, that can help us with blocking, or if we just want to swing and get some extra damage through with those citizens, we can. Next up, if we choose a background that gives us the Selesnya color identity, we can utilize cards like Sigarda's Aid, Lion Sash, and Odric. Sigarda's Aid, I believe, is getting decently expensive. Please reprint it, Wizards, but it is fantastic, obviously, in a deck like this one. It says you may cast or an equipment spells as though they had flash. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under control, you may attach a dark creature you control. So again, like Hammer of Nazan, this helps save us on equip costs, and yeah, also gives us the ability to cast these at instant speed so we can, out of nowhere, just attach something to our commander. Next up, Lion Sash is a fantastic card from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, a 1/1 equipment cat that's got reconfigure for 2. By paying a white, you can exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a +1 counter on Lion Sash. And the equipped creature gets +1 for each +1 counter on Lion Sash. So this is kind of like a Scavenging Ooze as an equipment, and yeah, this can help us make our commander absolutely massive while also dealing with problematic cards in graveyards. Next up, we can also consider a card like Odric Lunarch Marshal, which is a 3/3 human soldier that says, at the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn. If a creature controls first strike, the same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, skulk, trample, and vigilance. Essentially, if we're looking to take advantage of our commander's massive amount of keywords, and we've got other creatures that might want those keywords as well, it's a bit of a different direction to take this commander, and one that you should be considering if you're going in that direction. But if you are going in the direction of a Simic deck, make sure you're considering cards like Giant's Amulet, Winged Boots, and Mask of the Schemer. So if you choose a blue background, you've got access to these awesome cards. I mean, Giant's Amulet says, well, a lot of things to start. You can pretty much ignore that first part, but at the bottom it does say, equipped creature gets +0/+1 and this creature has hexproof as long as it's untapped. And here's the thing. Again, our commander has Vigilance, so it's always going to be untapped. So yes, basically just hexproof on another equipment. And again, protecting our Voltron commander is very important. Another way to do this, though, might be with Winged Boots, which says equipped creature has Flying and Ward 4. So we bump up from Ward 2 up to Ward 4, and that is a massive jump. I mean, just consider casting a, Path to Exile and having to pay 5 mana for that, essentially, to get rid of something. But of course, on top of that, this also gives our bear flying, which is, well, hilarious, and also a great way for us to get damage through. Moving on, though, how about Mask of the Schemer from Streets of New Capenna, which says, whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, it connives X for X the amount of damage it dealt to that player. And again, connive was a new mechanic from that set, which means draw X cards, then discard X cards, put a +1 counter on that creature for each non-land card discarded this way. So this is fantastic card selection. I mean, just loot a ton with this commander, and again, on top of that, we're going to be making our commander massive when we discard a ton of non-land cards. Moving on, what if we choose a background with a Golgari route? Well, we can utilize cards like Homicidal Seclusion, Demonic Embrace, and Tainted Strike. Homicidal Seclusion is an enchantment that says, as long as you control exactly one creature, that creature gets +3/+1 and has lifelink. That is a ton of value, and again, with a Voltron style strategy like this one, chances are we're not going to have any other creatures in play. So yeah, have fun pumping Wilson and giving it lifelink, which again, as I talked about before, is fantastic, especially for a creature that has Vigilance. Moving on, though, we can utilize an aura like Demonic Embrace that says enchanted creature gets +3/+1, has flying, and is a demonish with other types, so we have a demon bear. That's great, but yeah, you may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card instead of paying its other cost. So in a lot of ways, auras do tend to be weaker than equipment because, if your commander is dealt with, they're just gone. But with this one, you can get it back, and that is a fantastic effect. And of course, by having access to black, we have access to infect cards like Tainted Strike, an instant for just a black mana that says target creature gets +1/+0 and gains infect until end of turn. This can be an easy way out of nowhere to turn our commander into a one-shot KO that our opponents are not expecting. If it's the first time they're going to be dealt damage from our commander, they might think they can survive 10 commander damage, but all of a sudden it's like, nope, has infect, poison, you're done. And finally, if we pick the Gruul color identity with that background in red, we have cards like Rabbit Battery, Lizard Blades, and Blood Mist that we can utilize. Rabbit Battery is a 1/1 hasty equipment rabbit, which is adorable, but also it says equipped creature gets ++1 and has haste. And being able to swing with our commander right away can be very impactful. Also impactful, like I mentioned earlier with Fire Shrieker, yeah, when we have access to red, we've got access to a lot of double strike cards like Lizard Blades. It's a 1/1 double striking equipment lizard because that's a thing that says equipped creature has double strike. And of course, yes, double strike everywhere. Blood Mist. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. This is a fantastic enchantment that can provide us a lot of value throughout the game, just making our commander hit twice as hard essentially. Now, outside of it being a commander, Wilson is also a fantastic part of the 99 in Ayula Queen Among Bears deck. Ayula is a 2/2 bear that costs 1 and a green, so again, a bear that is a bear. I love it. Whenever another bear enters battlefield under control, choose 1. Put 2/+1 counters on target bear, or target bear you control fights target creature you don't control. Wilson obviously is an incredible addition to this deck. I mean, again, just getting those counters on Wilson can be a fantastic way to get a ton of damage through. Again, with all those keywords on Wilson, what's not to love? And speaking of keywords, another commander that is definitely going to want to consider Wilson is Cathril Aspect Warper. It's a 3/3 Nightmare Insect that says, when it enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on any creature you control if a creature card in your graveyard has flying. Repeat this process for a first strike, double strike, death touch, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. Then put a +1 counter on Cathril for each counter put on a creature this way. Again, with Wilson being keyword soup, it can help you out a ton when it is in your graveyard with a commander like this one. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Wilson is a very awesome commander. I mean, not just, the entire flavor of it being a 2/2 bear warrior for 2, it's a bear. that has Ward 2, which, 2, bear. And of course, all those other amazing keywords and just the art, everything coming together. This is incredible. And yeah, of course, there are a lot of exciting ways to build around this commander and decks that can play very differently depending on what, background you choose and what color identity you end up with. Regardless, again, if you are looking to build around Wilson, make sure you check out that link in the description below for some of those cards that you might want to utilize with this awesome commander. Again, when a new exciting commander is spoiled, sometimes cards tend to go up in price sooner rather than later. And of course, make sure you're on the lookout for even more exciting quick takes coming up. Spoiler season is just getting started. And with that, the show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.